when I was your age, when I was always trying to make trees, I would end up doing something that looked like this, and then I wouldn't know how to end my tree, and then I would stick stuff out of it like this, and it would end up kind of feeling like antlers, or like my tree somehow was cut off, and that wasn't feeling successful to me as an artist, okay? The other thing that I would do is I see a lot of students making Y trees that do this, and that's actually more like a T, and it looks more man-made rather than actually having it feel like a Y tree. So these are things that we're trying to get away from, and what we're trying to get towards is a tree that feels more like it's Ying or Ving out. It's a little bit more natural. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it, and there's more ways. I'm only going to show you 2 ways because I think that either of these 2 ways works great. And in the back of the classroom, you'll find a blue sheet of paper, but if it's a distance learner, they can use a white sheet of paper at their house. But I do like the blue sheet of paper for the colors that I'm giving you in class for our tree house. So obviously we need a tree to build a tree house, so here we go. The first kind of tree that I'll show you is a stick tree. This is a type of tree, so I'm going to grow a really tall trunk here, so we can everyone see that? Okay. And then I want to Y out. Now, a skinny tree like this is not going to hold a tree house, so stick with me. So when I Y out, I have this, but that ends up looking really bare, so I always put a third one in, kind of going in a little bit of a different direction, and I always make sure that these are a little bit different in height. Then I Y out, or I branch out from here, and every time I make a branch, I make it smaller. So I have a big branch, I go smaller, 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 and then it feels like a tree. If I were to put a gigantic branch out like this, that looks unnatural. So we're not going to do that. And it's just those things that you learn about, and then you go, all right, that didn't work out. And so thank goodness for this little tool. I love my eraser. Mrs. Sumlin makes lots of mistakes, so I am an expert eraser. All right, now that's not holding my tree, so what I need to, or my tree house, so what I'm going to do is make it bigger. And all I do is I run a line next to the lines that I have that aren't quite parallel. They kind of go in slightly. Let me show you what that looks like. Wide trunk, but I'm going to make it narrower. Wide trunk, making it slightly narrower. Oh, look at that. Now that's a shape. I'm going to take this line, go wide, and then make it a shape. And this line, until all of my lines eventually become shapes. And now my tree looks more like a tree. Correct? I think so, yeah. The other tree, so that feels like a tree. Now, it's a tree that is not decorated, so let's just stick with that, okay? Second thing that we're going to do, the second way I'll show you is my chicken foot tree, because the first time I made it, I thought, oh, this looks like my mother raises chickens next door to me. My mom lives next door to me, and she raises chickens, so when I go over there, their feet are kind of creepy looking to me. They're like these fuzzy, beautiful birds with these creepy feet. So let me show you my chicken foot tree. My chicken foot tree goes like this, big, strong chicken leg, and then I'm going to go chicken toe, chicken toe, chicken toe. And then I'm going to come down like this. And if you've never seen a chicken foot, it kind of looks like that. Then what I do from here is I'm just going to make these branches like I just did in the last one, but I'm going to make them, Y out. I don't want to make them, this is a common mistake. Let me show you this. People do this, and then they do this, and then they do this, and suddenly they have a thorn tree, and that feels really pokey and uncomfortable. So make sure that you are Ying it out as you go, and that'll feel a lot better. So now what we have is I'm giving you Crépas, and can you guys tell me about Crépas? Like what can Crépas do? Fletcher, yeah.
You can, when you color them,
yep.
you can and you use 3 or 4 colors.
Yep.
You can use your fingers and mix them up to look more like a tree.
Exactly. Yeah, you can smear them, which is fantastic. The other thing that you can do with Crépas is chalk is really, really, really smeary. but Craypaw can also give you a nice sharp line, which is a little bit harder in chalk. So this is my basket of Craypaws, and what I'm going to do is make a kind of a maple or an oak tree. And I don't want to use just one brown, I want to use multiple browns. So what I'm going to do is go in here, and I actually have yellows too. Sometimes yellows can be a really big help. So this is a little bit more challenging. I'll just use these colors instead. And then if you don't have colors at your table, we can always borrow from other tables. So I'm going to grab a medium brown, and I'm going to start making lines on here that actually might look to you at first like a scribble, or like I'm not trying very hard, but I'm just trying to create kind of a barky texture. And I'm not going to color my whole tree for this assignment. I'm just going to show you parts of it. Here's my other, this is kind of a lighter brown maybe. Here's another,
Mustard.
yep, mustard color, kind of another yellowy brown on here. And then I don't have a dark brown in this mixture. So what I'm going to do, oh, this is a little bit darker actually. Oh yeah, it did. I'm sorry, I couldn't read that color very well. Here's a darker brown. And now my last one I'm going to use is a little bit of a white. Now I kind of went out of the lines there, so I'm going to make some adjustments. My white is just going to add a little bit of lightness to my artwork, do a little smearing, and then I'll add in another color as well. Okay? A little bit of yellow. Now, just like Fletcher was saying, I can come back over here and I can smear this and cover up more of that paper so you don't see it. And suddenly you have the feeling of a tree, a texturized tree, correct? Yeah, that feels a little bit better. Okay. I'm just going to show you what it feels like to be done, because you also have to choose a season. So it can be winter, spring, fall. Summer is going to have a lot of leaves on it, so I would say probably don't think along those lines. This is what season do you think this is?
Fall.
No, it's not fall. And
Spring.
it's more like spring. Yeah, I have leaves that are coming on my trees, and then I have my grass with my flowers coming in. And then some students like to make a birch tree. Again, this is value. So I'm using, this is fall, yes. I've got my different colored leaves on here, and I'm using white. What colors am I using for my tree? White.
Gray.
Yep, gray, and
Black.
yep, black I have removed. So if you need a black, you have to come see me. And then I have some different color grasses in here. So now I'm going to ask you to add texture and value. Check out my grasses. They are not one color. I'm using a lot of different values in this grass and in this grass as well, okay?